The next patch for Last Epoch is shaping up pretty well, and it looks like they're targeting some long-time pain points for players. They're going to be touching up on visuals, refining your skill respec process, and adding some quality of life improvements to the skill window. We also have a new skill coming to the Sentinel, and they are finally adding in loot filters, which is something that myself and literally everyone else who's played this game is so excited for. I mean, there's so much loot in this game, and it's going to be great to be able to fine-tune what exactly you need. So we'll get into that towards the end of the video, but I did want to start this thing off with what most of you have been asking for, and that is visual updates. So Last Epoch shared a handful of new screenshots that showed the before and after of some of the newly updated zones, and these things are looking good. I mean, real good. You can tell there's a lot more detail added to each area. It gives the zones more depth and really makes the game pop more than it does today, right? Before, you really didn't understand how flat the game was before. I mean, myself, I thought the lighting looked nice. I thought there was a lot of strong atmosphere with the game, but comparing them to these new screenshots, it looks like, wow, the game was kind of flat before this. So these are going to be such a welcome change. I'm excited to see it. And they originally targeted the older zones for this update. They wanted to bring them up to the quality of the newer areas. And I'm hoping that after this visual update and maybe one more pass, the entire game world will look top notch. It's going to attract more players, and the visuals can stop being a big issue for lots of folks. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. There's always going to be room for improvement, but these should definitely help. So what do you guys think? Visuals, yes or no? Do you like the direction they took? Do you think they need to do more? Let me know in the comments. Next, I want to talk to you guys about the new skill window. Now, one of the things that really drove me nuts about unlocking skills or planning a build is that the skill window didn't show all of the skills I could unlock. And it just didn't really make a lot of sense. All it showed was what I had access to right now. So I had to check multiple windows in order to see everything that I could unlock or I could build around. So this next update changes all of that. It shows all of the skills that you can unlock for that class. And if you have them, they're colored in. And if not, they're grayed out, and it tells you how to unlock them. Plus, they're all organized by mastery to make things easy to find. On top of all of that, each skill icon now has the damage types next to it, so you can quickly see what type of damage you're dealing. And these are going to change depending on what nodes you've unlocked for that skill. So for instance, you can see that Fury Leap has a lightning bolt because they've unlocked the Lagon's Wrath node, which gives lightning damage to that particular ability. So this is a small but really nice change. You can quickly see what damage type you're lacking in or strong in, and it should reduce the time that you're spending going through each skill and skill tree to figure out what type of damage does this deal. Did I take that node? Yes or no? Do I need to re-level it? So there's a lot that goes into it and a lot that this saves. Besides the window changes, skills themselves are also getting a change to how you respec. Right now, you can remove single points from a skill or completely despecialize from that skill, but you lose all of the points that it has. And one of the biggest complaints that I've heard is that it felt really bad to swap builds because you had to sacrifice all of the time that you spent leveling those skills and then re-level brand new skills from 1 to 20. So it just seemed like a big waste of time. And they're really kind of looking to help us with that with this next patch. When you specialize in a new skill, it's going to be boosted to a certain rank that scales with your character level. So for instance, and this is just an example, so this is just me kind of spitballing here, but let's say at level 60, your skills automatically start at level 10. So that means you begin with 10 points rather than 1, and you're already halfway to max. Plus, they have a system where your skills will level quickly until they're around 17, then they'll slow down when you reach level 20. So this really shortens the time it's going to take to go from 1 to 20. It starts at the halfway point and gets you there more quickly. Now, like I said, this is all kind of guesswork. I do think starting at level 10 would be nice. I feel like that's a good compromise. And I do think this system is a step in the right direction, but I'd really like to see a system where you can store maxed out abilities that can be swapped out with new ones. Like if I had a favorite ability, like shield throw, I always use shield throw, and I had it at rank 20, so it was maxed out. Then I could take that skill and store it in something like a memory stone or something. and then I could put a new skill in there that I want to try out, and if I didn't like it, then I could swap it back out for my shield throw with no penalty. It would consume that memory stone, and I could go get another one to then swap out. And I think you can keep these reduced to a minimum, right? Maybe 1 or 2 memory stones in your inventory at any point in time. That would still help the devs meet their criteria of not allowing hot swapping of skills. And I think this is just a good, strong, happy medium with being able to swap things out as much as you would like to. So moving on to the next thing, Sentinels are getting a new skill called Shield Bash, which looks awesome. So meaty, heavy impact. And Shield Bash is a stun whose damage scales with block chance, which goes amazing with a paladin build I have going right now because I've just been stacking the hell out of block chance. I am pumped to try this thing out, and the devs shared a few of the nodes you can unlock for this skill. They allow Shield Bash to slow, you can synergize it with shield throw. If you have Ring of Shields active, you can actually bash with all of the shields to kind of widen your Shield Bash damage. And I really don't know how effective this is going to be as a damaging ability since I haven't played with it, but I hope it's decent enough to spec into. If anything, it'd be a nice little stun, something to kind of help crowd control a little bit, but will it beat out a damaging ability or a more impactful support ability? So before we wrap this thing up, let's talk about those new loot filters. Now, this is something that everyone has been asking for. Last Epoch drops tons of loot, and sometimes it takes an eternity to sort through everything. So these loot filters are going to make that experience much less exhausting, which is nice. That avoids burnout for some players. And from what we've been shown, this is going to be implemented in-game, kind of like Grim Dawn instead of a third party like Path of Exile. And you're going to be able to create loot filters that target specific rarities, affixes, damage types, base item levels, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can fine tune for what you want to see. And the example they showed us was a filter for an Ignite Warpath build that targets all loot that has Ignite damage with two-handed swords and anything above level 65. In addition to that, the nice thing about these loot filters is you can easily change them on the fly, you can give them a name to keep things organized, and lastly, you can actually share your loot filters with other players. Now, this is going to make my life as a content creator a ton easier when I'm making builds, because then I can just share the loot filter with you all so that the only things you see are items that fit that build criteria. I don't have to put in there anymore, hey, look for things that have Ignite. Hey, look for things that have this. I can literally build that into the filter and say, hey, the stuff that drops and you actually see, those are the things that you want to be looking at and comparing against what you have. So for me, I'm very excited. And I think it's going to be a big game changer when it comes to end game, optimizing builds, and just such an overall quality of life improvement. I'm so glad to see this actually just showing up and popping right into a patch, and we're going to be able to use it very, very soon. And that's it. That's all we got. I'm hoping to see this patch over the next few days or early next week, but there's a lot packed into this one. I think it's going to make the game even better. I feel like I say that on every single patch, but it's true. I mean, this game benefits from every patch that comes out for it, and it's something that just continues to grow. And a big part of that is the community feedback that you guys give. So continue doing that, continue giving that feedback. We're gonna make this game the best it can possibly be. But I do want to hear from you guys, so let's get talking in the comments section below. What do you think so far of this patch preview? Is there something in here that you really, really like, something you really don't like, something you really wish would be in here? Please don't say rogue or dual wield or bows, because I am just as hyped for those, and I really hope we see those very, very, very soon. That multiplayer too. But anything outside of those, maybe like a small thing, like, man, I really wish they would tweak this thing or add this little tiny deal over here that I would really like. I really want to hear those things. So as always, guys, thank you so much for the support. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.